I think you started. We've got cameras rolling. So we are now in the Galleria area and the Ambiente Trends 2019. And we've got a special guest. And what I really appreciate about the Ambiente is the great people we get to meet on these type of events. And I've got another special guest here right now. Can you introduce yourself, your name, where you're from, what do you do?
Hi, I'm Nikki Brandmark, and I'm the blogger behind myscandinavianhome blog. I live in Malmö, Sweden, but I'm originally from London. So really my main passion is writing about Scandinavian design as someone who lives there and sending it out to sort of the world around me.
And Scandinavian design, we're going to walk through the trends part, maybe come for a walk with me. Scandinavian design has got a very specific aesthetic and it's got a very unique aesthetic. Have you seen some of that on the Ambiente today?
Absolutely. I mean, I was really excited to see it popping up everywhere. I mean, even when I look now, there's these lovely hooks are actually right from Malmö,
really?
In a kilometre from where I live. I've been to this. I was actually in their studio this week. So, Scandinavian design is such a big thing on the world, on the world design map. So, I'm really excited to see it, and it's exciting to see it mixed with so many other elements here as well.
Well, and just, for a bit of background for the viewers, these trend areas, we're currently standing in Joyfilled Ambience, and this Joyfilled Ambience trend area is a combination of all the different parts that sort of have been found at the Ambiente 2019 and put together to actually bring this trend to life. When we walk around the corner here, we see what it's about being creative, diverse, unorthodox. Can you say a few words as to how you see this trend?
I think this is a really exciting trend. I love it personally, I'm really into Scandinavian design, which tends to be much more subtle, muted tones, but I really appreciate the vibrancy of this trend. It's very playful, it's fun, and there's a lot of nice light colours like watermelon and apricot. Anything goes. You can mix patterns, you can mix textures, there's no rules. You can just break the rules and have loads of fun with it. Mm-hmm.
Because that's what we have experienced over the years. If you can find things you love, things you like to look at, and accents. There's quite a strong, bold colour behind this trend, but it's still light, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got a sort of very whimsical feel about it. It's light-hearted. I think that's part of the nice thing about it. It's light-hearted, and actually you could probably take any element from it and put it in a sort of almost all-white home. It would still be fun. I love that. It's like a hat on a light, but it's also got a practical purpose.
Yeah, it's quite fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really fun. You can take the glare away from your eyes. Really funky. No, it seems like the designers have had loads of fun designing everything here. Yeah.
And when it comes to obviously different trends, we've got a bit of a contrast here looking left and right. We've got a very light, whimsical, sort of fun play from the right-hand side. Here we've got the Tasteful residence. Quite a stark contrast, yeah?
This is, it's completely different. I think the idea is it's much more luxuriant. It's quite a sophisticated look. It's a lot more about the play of different textures. It's about sculptural objects. It's about things you really want to touch because they're so beautifully made, and they're kind of, you want to reach out and play with the different textures they've used.
Well, let's go and see if we can find some things to touch. You've just described. I want to go and touch things now. So when you look at this, what's the first thing you want to touch?
I think, I'm really naughty. Whenever I go into a museum or anything, I touch everything. I wait for the guard not to look, and then I quickly touch.
That's right. I've spoken with the security guards. We're allowed to touch things today.
But I think the things that really caught my eye, for example, is these spoons, for example. This is the whole thing about this trend. They're very simple. They're gold. But if you look closely, there's a play of nuances. There's a matte finish and a polished finish, which makes it interesting, makes it decorative.
We actually saw some wine glasses on day one, and the bases had this the same mineral type base, but a beautiful crystal glass with this base. So it's obviously great to see it not just on the different formats of these trends. It's not just one product, all the different formats of these products. Again, you've got here plates, decorative plates.
Yeah, I think that one of the things we're going to see so much of in 2019 is the sculptural shape of objects. They're playing with a simple textures, all one colour, for example this, but it's got a beautiful scalloped edge, which I think gives it so much interest.
Let's continue on to the next trend area. We've got Oh, wow, this is a big light, isn't it? We've actually got the next area called Quiet Surrounding. I mean, coming from this more luxurious sort of residence and gold and opulence, how do you feel when you first see this trend called Quiet Surroundings?
I think I suddenly feel at home in Malmö, Sweden. The birds are singing and everything's sort of white and light. It's got a very sort of Scandinavian look and feel about it, which obviously is really sort of something that I find really beautiful. It's a lot about natural textures, it's about nature, it's about honest material, a lot of sustainability. I think it's all very simple and very practical.
So simple, sustainable, Scandinavian, there's 3 S's. So the when I look at this, it's just even the palette, it all fits very, very well together. The materials and the palette's very, very similar, isn't it?
Yeah, one of the beauties of this very sort of calm design is they use these muted, earthy tones. A lot of them are very natural, like undyed. You can recognise them from nature. They're very earthy, and I think that's really nice for us because it means it's like an oasis for us. And I think when everyone's stressed and everyone's running around...
That's when I observed this, we just walked in, I just heard this little box on the wall too, singing to us. You just described what I experienced. Can you hear that, guys? The sound of the forest, the birds tweeting around. Because you just described why I personally think a lot of the Scandinavian design is really coming back, because it's got a calming feel. You just use the word muted, but it's almost very calming. In this everyday, 2019, Instagram, Facebook, everything's going on, and you hear birds tweeting. White and muted. Is that what you'd also agree with?
Yeah, I mean, I must say I would love one of those in my home because all the birds have left Sweden at the moment. They all migrate and then suddenly they all disappear. So I think I'm going to need one of those.
Well, we'll see if we can get you one, all right?
But yes, in answer to your question, I really feel that in Scandinavia it's about drawing nature inside. It's about using honest natural materials and creating this. Nature makes you feel less stressed. It's been scientifically proven to make you feel calmer, and by bringing it indoors we're creating this oasis and sort of a personal sanctuary away from the stressful buzz of the outside world. Yes, lovely. Lovely. And I think one of the other beauties of these items is that it's not about being perfect. It's about nature is never perfect. It has patterns that aren't irregular, for example. So if you look at this one, part of the design is the fact that you have, cracks in it, you have imperfections. Unique, yeah. So that means that every single piece will be unique, because it's often handcrafted, and it's like the artisanal feel. Would
that be like a small fruit bowl, or what are we looking at there?
I think you could use it for a number of different things, actually. You could use it for your crisps, but you could also use it for other little objects, even your keys and...
Yeah, got it. Home for the keys is important. And we walk around the corner, there's actually, again, the wooden feeling and the you can see those trends coming. There's a lot of people going on. Everyone's running away, scattering like cats. And I think we've got this area here. You mentioned Scandinavian art and design. Some of the stuff on the table here?
Yeah, I mean, I was really excited to see this is by a Finnish artist, a Finnish designer, and obviously inspired by nature. This one is actually from Italy. I discovered them earlier. I think Aushmama from Tuscany, and everything they make is actually made from paper.
No, that's not made of paper.
And I was a bit worried. I said, can you take it out in the rain? They said, yeah, it's no problem and everything. So it's waterproof paper, like recycled, sustainable. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that moving forward as well. Thankfully,
I mean, it's about time. I mean, the general public and then people out there in the world to understand where things have come from, what they're made of, and what effect that has on the natural cycles of things. Making something out of recycled paper, what could be better?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I really, really hope that this will just continue to grow and grow and grow, this industry, because it's so important. You see toys now, children's toys being made from old plastic toys, for example, sending out a really important message to the future generations. And I feel like everyone's got to have sustainability at the forefront of their minds.
That's a really good closing segue to the thoughts on this trend area. Here you see not just aesthetics, things coming together, being arranged in a trend situation, but you can also see the themes of the manufacturers putting out their visions for the next few years. And it's great to see a lot of sustainable innovations as well, especially a paper bag, which looks like a leather bag. So I really appreciate your time. Any more thoughts and inspirations for Ambiente? Have you seen anything today that you would love to recommend someone goes and sees?
I actually spent a long time in Hall 8. Not surprising, there was a lot of Scandinavian designs in there, but there were a lot of really small designers in there. So I could get to speak to a lot of the people behind the designs, and it's always interesting to hear the story and their thought process, and it's an opportunity you don't normally get. So I would definitely say amble around that hall and get chatting.
Hall 8, go and check it out. Lots of Scandinavian design and young people creating beautiful designs for tomorrow's product portfolios from different companies. Fantastic. So I will close there. I just said my favourite word, fantastic. Fantastic was last year's bonus word. I have to buy the guys a coffee every time I say fantastic. So there's 2 coffees, guys. I really appreciate your time and enjoy the rest of the Ambiente. And we'll see you soon. Okay. So in closing, thanks, guys. We're heading off to the Hall 4 now, I think, to Ritzenhof with lots of glassware, innovative designs, and looking forward to that. So have a good afternoon. Actually, evening. See ya.